and welcome to everyone that's joining me here on LinkedIn Live. And I know it is shared throughout many channels. So welcome, welcome. Now you'll see that there is one person on our live session today. Now, unfortunately, my guest is not well. So I'm going solo today. Yeah, so I hope you will help me out and contribute to this session. So this is Navigating the Future of Sales, winning partnerships for successful GTM strategies to build pipeline. Now, winning sales partnerships, that's the core of what we're talking about here. And, you know, in the comments, please do introduce yourself. I'd love to know where you are in the world, and it will be great for you to share your LinkedIn profile and also to join us in the conversation, share your insights and your experiences here. So make sure in the comments that you do so. So I wanted to start by sending my love to Christina and hope she feels well, and we'll get her on later on in the year. But I still wanted to talk about this subject because many people commented to me. So I think it's a really really good subject for us to start with. And I really wanted to give you some context as to why I think it's such an important subject and how I came to be involved in it. So welcome. Please do comment and join in this discussion, this flying solo discussion. So I worked in financial services sales in the 1990s. Yes, I am that old. And after my MBA at Cranfield School of Management, I moved to customer experience, into a customer experience consultancy. So I had a good kind of 10 years of sales behind me. And when I moved into customer experience, it really changed my perspective on really what sales is, what sales and selling is. And I had been taught in the 1990s it very much about push. What I learned is that pulling is the better strategy. So what I mean by that, instead of the inside out, what we're doing is we're encouraging our buyers, and we're really looking for the more of a buying perspective to selling, which is outside in. How does it affect our customer? What is the customer value we want to achieve, rather than what is the product or service we want to sell? Now, this became the foundations to scale your sales many years ago, and this was kind of like 2005. So really early days of my thinking about what I believe sales should be. So during my work in Cranfield School of Management, teaching and consulting in CAM, key account management, or in the Americans call it strategic account management. And this was back in 2014 when I started consulting with Cranfield School of Management. My perspective began to evolve again. So key account management, strategic account management is very much plotting the relationship you have with your key customers and moving them from a transactional relationship all the way along through the stages to more of an interdependent relationship. So looking at the different relationships and how you can build them, what does it mean in terms of the communication and your key stakeholders. So kind of teaching a lot of that got me thinking again about how important your customers are and being really at the center of your customers' world. So in many interviews over the years, there's lots of phrases that I come out, and the particular ones is that building your customer relationship into a partnership is one of the key phrases I often come out with. I'll kind of talk about a few more of my phrases and why this is so critically important. So in this session, with moi, I will explore some of the developments in my journey, helping my clients to scale sales. But fundamentally, what we're talking about is winning B2B partnerships to grow pipeline, to grow revenue, and really the art of cultivating those strategic relationships. You know, in today's competitive environment, strategic partnerships have become indispensable for companies aiming to accelerate growth and expand market reach. Now, I believe your customers are your best salespeople, but you've got to have a particular relationship with them. And that's one of the phrases you often hear me say. Your customers are your best innovators and creators. Your customers are your best sales force. So how do you get there? And it's really about having a mindset, but also you've got to back that up with a strategy as well. And partnership is really important here. You know, I often find enormous opportunities in my clients' organizations that they're not tapping in because they're not positioning for growth and driving net new revenue through channel partnerships. Now, this is about collaborating with complementary businesses and organizations that can leverage combined strengths to penetrate new markets. And this is about accessing untapped customer segments. And what I mean is untapped. They could be in your key client base already, and it's about identifying them. So this will lead to driving accelerated revenue growth. And that's why I'm really passionate about it. And I feel it's really important. But I do want to hear from you. So please do post in the comments your questions, your comments, your experience in this. And really, what do you want me to be talking about? I've got some things prepared that I was going to talk to you about with Christina. But I'd love to hear from you on this live as well. So I'm going to be talking about three key pillars here. And the first one is really the benefits. What are the benefits of a partnership strategy to grow your pipeline and your revenue? And it really is about leveraging partnerships to enhance market penetration and revenue growth. And it's about accelerating those relationships into partnerships so that you can leverage mutually beneficial acquisition points, really. It's like that, having that kind of triangle. And, you know, like if you really want to win, you need to have that team around you. It's not just internal, but the external team around you as well. What your competitive advantage and marry that with some, you know, another partnership competitive advantage actually makes you a lot stronger. So alliances can yield substantial benefits. For instance, partnerships enabled companies to enhance product offering. I may have one piece of the cog, you have another piece of the cog, even another perspective, and with those two we're better able to service our mutual beneficial customers. And I've often said, if I help my customer to win, I win as a consequence of that. If I help my customers to grow, I will grow as a consequence of that. That's another tenet I'm often talking about. So it's also about improving your service delivery. If I can close that gap between myself and the customer I'm serving, then it enables the customer I'm serving to close the gap in, you know, rather than looking in your rear view mirror, the customers in the middle, they're often having to spend so much energy with their suppliers looking in the rear view mirror. But if the closer the supplier is to understanding what the customer is trying to achieve, the easier you as the supplier are going to make it for your customer. It means that they're really focused on their customers, focusing on looking forward and not looking back. So it's achieving greater customer satisfaction through integrated solutions. And that's to the extent of you literally having a team sitting in the customer's place of business. I know we're all virtual Now, many of us are, but actually having people are seconded to sit with the customer, to be really close to the customer, and vice versa, the customer using some of your space. Now, that could be physical or it could be virtual. It could be leveraging the management teams, the specialist teams for mutual benefit. But it's about having a clear goal of where you're going and what you want to achieve. So I'm kind of going forward, but there are quite a few steps before that. But it's about having the intention of partnership and understanding the mutual value that can be gained. But it's not something a quick win. It's a quick win in terms of the results, but it's not a quick win in terms of the setup. It's really got to be very paced in, and the way that you build trust in that relationship as well over a period of time. So some estimates say that there's a 20-time accelerated benefit without needing to hire new people or add or replace new employees, or invest a lot in new product development. There may be some iterations, but it's going to be with the customer benefits because the customer's sitting with you doing those iterations. So while your competitors are not paying attention to reap the rewards in building the relationships, while they're very focused internally on themselves and selling their products to customers, you're very much focused on building the relationship into a partnership with your customers, so that you don't really have a sales relationship anymore. You actually have a partnership, which is very, very different. A strategic partnership means that whatever decisions you make, they're mutually beneficial for you both. You're a lot closer to the customer. And guess what? It's very much more difficult for your partners to break free and go to other competitors, because there's so much that they have embedded in that relationship that you've, over a period of time, built up the trust and the interconnected, interdependent relationship. So you're actually building up real barriers for them to exit. It's so difficult. And that's what you want. That's how you make your pipeline secure into the future. So it's worthwhile spending the time to identify who are going to be your partners going forward into the future. So it's a real window to recruit, to build, to train, to equip your best partners out there. And you have some partners, but you're probably not recognizing them as partners. You might be calling them ambassadors. Well, that's already a partnership relationship that is informal. So it's about having that indirect sales force. And you can have partnerships at many, many different levels in your organizations. You could have a marketing partnership, a product partnership, a whole strategic partnership. It's really doing the work so that you can form that solid competitive advantage when market sentiment may change. And it has changed. It's changed quite a few times in the last 2-3 years. And so the closer you are to your customers, the easier it is for you to ride out those reversing of sentiment and changes in the market, because you're in it together. So some of the discussion points I would talk about with my clients around the subject of creating partnerships is about understanding what strategic advantages do strategic partnerships offer in terms of enhancing market penetration and driving revenue growth. What are the possibilities there? And how can you as an organization effectively identify, cultivate, and maintain successful partnerships to optimize your go-to-market strategies? What does it look like to you? But also identify, and I think this is a great starting point, what strategic partnerships do you already have that you may be calling by another name? Who are your best customers? Who are your key account customers? Who are the ambassadors to your business? Well, let's look at what we're doing right. What's working? Why is it working? How did that happen? Can we replicate it? That is a great starting point. Where do we have our best, most solid relationships? Where are we most profitable? And so, a question I'd like to challenge you with to take back into your teams is, what challenges have you encountered in building and maintaining successful partnerships, and how have you addressed them? Because the way you address some of those challenges actually help you to build more partnership relationships in the future. You're beginning to anticipate some of those challenges and you're eyeing them out before they happen. That's where your greatest learning is. Okay, I've talked a lot here, and it'll be great to kind of like take a little break and see whether, I've got some comments. Let me know, is this information, is it relevant? Is it of interest to you? Do you have any experience in the area of building strategic partnerships? Let me know your thoughts. It'd be great to get some insights from you listening to this this presentation, this discussion about you building strategic partnerships in order to grow pipeline and revenue. So I'm just checking to see if I have any comments. Okay, so the takeaway is really fostering collaborative cultures internally and externally, and focusing on mutual trust and transparency to share the goals to maximize the benefits of strategic partnerships. That's really what you want to achieve. I've talked to you about a starting point, looking at where you already are now, and really identifying what type of strategic partnerships you want going forward that will give you those quicker wins and longer term gains. Now, I want to, a great reference is listening to Scale Your Sales podcast, which was just issued a couple of weeks ago on the 10th of June with Teresa Caragol, CEO of Achieve Unite. And she has 20 years global experience in driving revenue growth and mitigating risks, fostering strategic partnerships. And her company is built around this. So we had amazing discussion on really what are some of the steps, what are the downfalls to building strategic partnerships. So I don't really want to go through all of that. Make sure you listen to that episode, 10th of June, so not long ago, Teresa Caragol. Okay, so I want to talk about pipeline, building pipeline strategies, effective pipeline strategies. And I've got a case study for you for this one. You may know of a company called Whiplash. Their success story is that they were acquired by Ryder, and they reported strategic partnerships fueled a 50 million growth through partnership sourced pipeline in 1 year. 50 million in 1 year just by using this strategy. Incredible, yeah? Well, it really is an opportunity to gain accelerated growth. Now, Whiplash is a logistics provider with integrated e-commerce platform to streamline fulfillment. Now, their partnership model leveraged complementary capabilities to access new markets and accelerate growth. So, what partnerships can you leverage with complementary capabilities to access new markets and accelerate growth? Now, according to Crossbeam, 88% of marketers find partner marketing valuable. And an article by Marco DePaulis details how to generate millions in partner source pipeline in 1 year, and literally goes through all of the strategies that he used in 1 year. And I'm going to share the link with you to that article, because it's very detailed and I think it will be of value to you. So in 1 year, not all of the strategies are going to work for you, but this is what worked for him. So it's literally step by step how to generate millions in partner source pipeline and how they did it. So in terms of this discussion, what are the key elements of successful partnership strategies that your go-to-market leaders and executors can adopt to build robust pipelines in competitive markets? What would you say are your key elements for these successful partnership strategies? I've got lots of ideas as to what they may be, but I'd love to hear from you. So one question I often ask my clients is, how can your organization identify potential partners whose capabilities complement your own to accelerate market penetration and pipeline growth? So the first one, we looked at, what have you already got within your key account? Who are your existing top performers? Who are the people that are already building you up, bigging you up? Who are your favorite people? Who are the most profitable? Look at what you've already got. So now this strategy is about looking at complementary partners that may not be already within your organization. Successful partnership hinders on finding strategies between your products and services and those of your partners. You must have analysis of your own competitive advantage, of course, and your strengths, to have a clear view of where the strategic fit. What are the non-negotiables before going forward with identifying other strategic partnership fit? So Paul DeSalis states that a goal of an ecosystem is not immediate partnership source revenue. That shouldn't be the initial goal. It should be customer value. Where am I going to be able to leverage or give the most customer value? And I love that, because a key principle of scale your sales is customer value, including everything that would help your customer grow their business and eventually could be measured in terms of existing revenue expansion. So if I help my customers to grow, by virtue of doing that, I will grow. That's a key principle of scale your sales. So the key takeaway here is to develop a structured approach to identify, evaluate, and engage potential partners based on strategic alignment and market synergies. So the first one was looking internally. What have you already got? The second one is looking at where can you find alignment, strategic fit with the people that are close to you, but not necessarily already within your team, your customer base. Okay, so any more comments? Share your insights. Have you had experience of this? So my third area I wanted to look at was really the art of cultivating strategic, just said it so many times I can't say it anymore, strategic partnerships for go-to-market excellence. And this is about mastering partnerships. And an example here would be kind of B2B SaaS growth, strategies for scalable success. Now, a case study that I found here, and I shared why partnerships, interdependency, and how I came to be involved in this whole subject and bring it under the umbrella of Scale Your Sales. But Greg S. McLaughlin talks about his initiation into partnerships came early in his career when he was selling social commerce SaaS. And even with heavyweight customers like Nike and Best Buy, he says, tapping into the SMB and mid-market was a Herculean task. But the game changer came when a strategic partner with a social media scheduling tool, when they aligned with them within just 2 weeks of launching this strategic partnership, they saw a 45% surge in inbound leads, and their sales reps were kind of double booked for absolute days and months with the amount of relevant inbound leads. So it can really work. He highlights that B2B SaaS companies achieve growth through collaborative partnerships focusing on shared goals and clear value propositions. So I read this in an article he wrote in a Medium that reports that 56% of B2B partner marketing programs have shown success in less than a year, demonstrating the effectiveness of strategic alliances in driving business outcomes. So I can put that link in here just to back that up, and you can look at that for a reference later on. Yeah, so I'd love to hear from you. What is your experience of this? And, you know, I'd say CEOs can effectively align their go-to-market strategies with strategic partnerships to achieve market excellence and sustainable growth. How do you do this? Well, you know, some practical steps your leadership team can take is to ensure that your partnership goals are aligned to your overall go-to-market objectives. Because otherwise it's a waste. It's like not focusing on that niche, and that's what you need to do. Be really clear about your go-to-market objectives, and then look at where your best alignments in terms of partnerships will be. So it's about establishing clear communication channels, metrics to monetize and optimize the partnership performance, and ensuring there is mutual success over the long term. When you've got the right partners in place, that will always happen. Okay, just a couple more moments here. I've talked a lot. And, you know, I would love to hear more from you, but I just going to wrap up and just invite you, once you listen to this, I get lots of people listening to the recording. So please do connect with me, Janice B Gordon, on LinkedIn. I would love to hear what you thought to the live. If it did stimulate some thoughts and questions that you need to go in and talk to your go-to-market teams about. If you've thought about partnership, if you're already on that journey, if you've had some stumbling blocks, I would love to know. I'm here to help, and please do connect with me, ask me any questions. I've been with this subject for a long time and talked to many people about it. So I have lots of insights that hopefully I can give you. But also do go back and look at the podcast episode with Teresa. So as always, Scale Your Sales provides a comprehensive framework for go-to-market leaders, CROs, CEOs, and sales professionals to explore and implement effective partnership strategies. Now, my discussion aims to be insightful and resourceful, to really get you to think about strategic partnerships around leveraging these partnerships for sustainable growth and market leadership in today's competitive environment. It is challenging out here, but this is one strategy, building strategic relationships, that doesn't just benefit you now, it benefits you into the future. I've often talked about your top 10, 20% of customers, your key accounts. Not only are they giving you the majority of your revenue, whatever that may be for you, 40%, 90%, but not only that, there's a large percentage, about 25% of them will be your key customers of your future. So it's future revenue. But having in the same token, having strategic partnerships is a barrier for them exiting the relationship, but also it's future-proofs your revenue down in the future. So my next live is with Mary Shea. Yes, you missed one last week, so you can go back and look at the recording. So on the 18th of July, I will be talking and discussing the subject of agile tech enabled Salesforce. So make sure you take this link and register for the next live with Mary Shea. So it won't be me solo anymore. It will be the wonderful guest, Mary Shea, leveraging all of her insights and data. All right, you take care. Thank you so much for joining me.